Yo, what's up? What's going on? What is good? Yep, that's right. The boxing source is back. Yes, and this is the midweek report for March 20th, 2024. Yep, last week for March 13th, there was not a midweek report. That was my birthday. I went out to the Pro Box event that was in Plant City, Florida last Wednesday for my birthday or whatever it is. Just spent my birthday thing over there. Enjoyed those fights. Of course, you had, you know, Voje Kalajic getting that knockout win over Sullivan Barrera there in the 10th round of that main event of that Pro Box TV card. You had Nicholas Flaz that, just overwhelmed and just out hustled and outworked. Oh man, it was just one of those things that I was just surprised that it happened there when you had Nicholas Flaz get that win over Luke Santa Maria and just blew him out. And of course, Kelvin Davis was part of that card, and you had Rashad Lee also that got his second professional victory in that fight card on March 13th there, that last Pro Box TV card. But now we are fully back at it here for the midweek report. We got, of course, a few topics here that we're going to be talking about here on this joint, and we want to, tackle everything as much as we can. I know that there was, a fight card last week, also during the weekend there on Saturday, and that we might be able to touch on that as well to, try to catch up on, the fights that had been going on, over the course of last week. So we might be able to touch on that as well here. But we want to get right into the main topic of discussion there, and that involves Santos Saul Alvarez Barragan. As of course, he does have his upcoming bout Saturday, May 4th, defending the undisputed super middleweight championships against Jaime Munguia. Of course, Jaime Munguia, former champion at 154, and didn't fight for a world title at 160. Moves up to 168, has a couple of fights, and now he is lined up to face the undisputed champion there in Canelo Alvarez. That'll take place at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And they did have, the press conference yesterday, and the face-off and everything like that. So we might, touch on a couple of things that, both fighters said in reference to that press conference. But the main thing is, coming from Fight Hub TV, that Canelo had mentioned David Benavidez, as David Benavidez was kind of thought to be the next opponent there for Canelo Alvarez. And, well, Canelo was like, fairly dismissive in reference to David Benavidez and, anything that was going on as far as like negotiations for Benavidez to be an opponent. And that, in this particular case, when it comes to guarantees that Canelo Alvarez gets, that for David Benavidez, that it may have to be a little bit more, for him to step in the ring to face David Benavidez. And that he mentioned that, that it would be 150 to 200 million to face David Benavidez, and he'll step in the fight. He said, like, pretty much if a promoter wants to give me 150, $200 million to face David Benavidez, then yeah, I'll go ahead and face him. But other than that, he really doesn't bring much value to me. He's, not really much of a different opponent as far as like, other opponents that are out there that Canelo could fight. So he's pretty much like implying that David Benavidez, isn't somebody that, they would say is much different than a Jaime Munguia, or shoot, or Edgar Belega, or any of the previous opponents that Canelo has had here in this recent run at super middleweight, whether it's Caleb Plant, whether it's Gennady Golovkin, whether it's John Ryder, whether it's Billy Joe Saunders, whether it's Callum Smith. Canelo's the draw. Canelo's the lead man in that he's the one that brings the high guarantees. He's the one that brings the fans over to the arenas. He's the one that, gets the people to buy the pay-per-views. So he has that type of appeal. And he's, one of, maybe two in the sport of boxing right now that could pretty much say that. Like him and Anthony Joshua, they're over in the UK. But outside of that, nobody really has that type of pull. So with Canelo saying that, hey, 150 million to fight Benavidez, some are saying that it is a absolute duck move by Canelo Alvarez. But there's been a couple of things that have kind of like been dropped here and there in reference to David Benavidez and number one, what he pretty much wanted and to have the fight take place with Canelo Alvarez, and why that kind of like dismissed him from being the opponent for Canelo on May 4th. And that with Jaime Munguia stepping in, he pretty much had like a guarantee that was set, for a while now. It's been around like 6 million was mentioned as the guarantee that Jaime Munguia would be able to accept for this fight against Canelo Alvarez. And so, with that being said, that is what, kind of like went through and was approved. But the thing about it is that you have a top fighter there in David Benavidez, who had been the WBC champion, held the title on 2 separate occasions. And, now, for, a long time, he had not become the WBC interim champion at super middleweight. There were reports that he was going to go up to light heavyweight and face Alexander Gvozdyk for the interim title at light heavyweight. So if that goes through, then, Canelo, at least for now, doesn't have to worry about David Benavidez in the super middleweight division. But, just having that being released out, or for Canelo to say that he needs that much money in order to face David Benavidez, is that a duck move? Is that a negotiation tactic? I mean, that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out, or what I want to hear from, some folks out here. Now, there's, folks, that I, communicate with or talk with and say, hey, this is an absolute duck move by Canelo Alvarez. But, at least for me, I just feel like it's something where it's a thing where he kind of like says, hey, you know what? If y'all want me to be part of what could be the biggest event in boxing, this is pretty much the range of what I would say that I would want for this particular fight. And, for Canelo to kind of like set that as a barometer, or pretty much like put it there on the line that, hey, $150 million, David Benavidez, okay, that's it, that's all. For Benavidez, I mean, he's kind of like, been around there in the super middleweight division for all that time. Looked like he was, trying to go after that fight with Canelo Alvarez. Of course, he had, the 2 fights last year, one against Caleb Plant, one against Demetrius Andrade. And, he was very impressive in the second half of the fight against Caleb Plant, and then pretty much dominated Demetrius Andrade for the stoppage victory that happened, what was it, last November. And Khaled solidified, his stance is saying that, hey, I'm one of the top super middleweights in the world at the time, where he pretty much like claimed that he is the top super middleweight in the world. So For Canelo to have all of those titles, that's one thing, but you haven't proven anything to me. You haven't stepped in the ring against me and proven that you're better than me. And so that was kind of like the aim there for David Benavidez for some time there to try to angle to get a fight against Canelo Alvarez. But all of that, didn't necessarily work out for him. All of that didn't, necessarily go through for him. And he, just, I guess he's, willing to move on or willing to move forward. David Benavidez, at least for now. And with it's basically now being a topic of conversation there within the boxing circles, as you see there within Twitter. Looks like you have Benavidez's name is kind of like trending out there, and that it's one thing to kind of like say, hey, you're gonna move forward, or are you gonna continue to chase Canelo Alvarez? Now it looks like it got something there with David Benavidez, and I did mention a thing there with him facing Alexander Gabasic, right? And that he could have that particular fight happen on June 15th. On June 15th. But it looks like that would be in Las Vegas, Nevada. That he would probably be the co-feature bout to Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank Martin in Las Vegas. That would be a good co-feature bout. Serve it up to Tank Davis versus Frank Martin. But the thing about it is that a number of these fight fans, they do want to see David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez, and for what it's looking like, unless if it doesn't happen in September, I don't know if Canelo versus David Benavidez is ever going to happen. I really doubt that. So Canelo, kind of like set that stage there, saying that he wants 150 billion for David Benavidez, but outside of that, I'm not sure if that fight ever takes place. Chiming in here right now is a great guest here for the Boxing Source. Jumping in here for the Midweek Report. It's a boxing academic, man. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, JR? How you doing today, man?
Man, just catching up. Had off week last week. Just getting right back into the thick of things here with boxing news. Just catching up, man. Canelo having this little ultimatum for David Benavidez is kind of like really got people in a fit. Saying $150-200 million for David Benavidez. Like, man, that's kind of wild there, man. What's your thoughts on Canelo, man? With saying that, and is he ducking David Benavidez by saying that?
Hey, man, let's lay off Canelo's case. Canelo is giving people 150 million reasons for why they won't make this fight, and that's his prerogative. You know what I'm saying? I think obviously he don't want to fight Benavidez, and at the point in his career, he is. And I'm stealing this from Terrell. I just want to let him know for when he hears this after the fact, but he sees the money that other people are making. So this is a negotiation strategy if he is going to take a fight that probably won't bode well for him. So he's making an offer that's really high so where they can land on something that's still pretty high. You know what I'm saying? If he does cash out in a sense, because this would essentially be a cash out fight. And he would be on his back foot walking Benavidez into shots. That would be the way that he wins the fight, because he wouldn't be able to keep the pace. And it really would be dependent on if he did press the issue, and went Mexican style with Benavidez if he could just hurt him early. But if they both going back and forth and they both sort of not necessarily hurting each other, but landing good shots, Canelo wouldn't be able to keep that pace. And that was essentially what people have said happened with the Russian guy. I forgot his name. But like he realized he couldn't keep the pace with B-ball. And so he just let off the gas and was like, I'm gonna finish the fight versus tiring out and losing off of fatigue. Because some knockouts and stoppages are just literally based on fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
Other ones are you got your butt whooped. And then some knockouts, hellacious knockout happen because of fatigue. It's a different fatigue knockout, like getting knocked out and losing your faculties versus the dude like tap you with one finger and you fall over off of exhaustion. So I mean, I think it'd be him cashing out, and so him just making another big payday. But he could always fight Jake Paul and make just as much money and not take that risk. But obviously he's gonna do that after he cash out in this way, maybe.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. It's like for this, it's like a risk versus reward type of thing there for Canelo Alvarez. Does he, feel like it's very risky to face David Benavidez at the point of Benavidez's career? At this point, he's still there, young. He's a young guy there at super middleweight, 27 years old. While even though Canelo's around there at 35, he's been in the game for like 17 years or so. And facing someone like David Benavidez, who's going to be at his peak, that would be a very risky situation there for him, to try to get in there against David Benavidez to see if he fares well against him. Now, want to bring in my guy coming in here. He has definitely a take on what's happening here with this thing with Canelo Alvarez. He is the co-host there of Brunch and Boxing. It is MVO in the building. What's happening with you?
Hey, what's going on, JL? How you doing today, man?
Man, I'm good, man. Just just jet lag, but still good though, man.
Man, well, listen, people gotta relax when it
Hey,
comes to
nigga, you
Canelo.
better address me when you walk in the room.
Did you hear something? I didn't hear anything. But people gotta,
Oh my God.
Canelo is that guy. Okay, he's gonna fight Benavidez. Now, will there be a rehydration clause? Maybe, but who cares? Who cares? The fight is the fight. You telling me Benavidez can't win a fight if he can only rehydrate up to a certain point? Like I don't get it. I don't get what the big deal is. Canelo is fighting Munguia in May, and he's gonna fight Benavidez in September. Okay, he's still with the family. He's always been with the PBC family. He never left, and he's gonna give the fans the fights that they want and deserve. So why is everybody upset? And how you doing, boxing academic?
Oh man, not.
I'm upset now. I'm not talking to him for the rest of the show.
It's all right. This guy told me he was gonna come on Brunch Boxing, one of my spaces. He still hasn't at all. I don't get it.
All right, so let's get the details. When is it again?
Once again, it's every Saturday morning at 11 a.m.
Didn't I complain about that time? Didn't
you
I
did,
throw you
and I told you for you we can do a special edition of Brunch Boxing just so we can have the boxing academic bestow his knowledge upon us.
How about this? I have a conference on this Saturday, but I will definitely come next Saturday. I'll put it on my calendar, and we'll definitely
Who the
come.
fuck do
What
you
are there
think
any
you
big
are?
fights that will make it worth? No, I'm saying I won't be able to come, so I ain't gonna lie to you.
got Costa Tszyu son.
Oh, it's a better fight.
Son against Sebastian Fundora next week.
Oh, well, that'd be a good time to come on, wouldn't it?
Next Saturday, you'll be able to put in your pick.
Okay, so that sounds like a plan, doesn't it?
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We'll wait on the boxing academic.
And we'll see if you'll be able to make it in there for brunch and boxing on Saturdays at 11 there on Twitter Spaces.
But let me ask you a question, JR.
Can I ask you a question real quick, MVO?
Yeah.
Has Facebook let you back on? Because I know you were banned for a few years, but have they let you back on?
I have a new Facebook account, but I'm not really using it because I don't care about Facebook anymore.
Okay, on the better things, on the better. Okay, I'm sorry. Rough
I don't
spot.
care about
My
Facebook.
All right.
Like, I'm good.
All right. So,
but, do you
question?
guys actually have any problems with what Canelo's doing?
I was saying that this is a negotiation tactic of sorts. That he's pretty much setting a bar as to what he'll eventually get against David Benavidez on one side. On the other side, I think it's coming off of some reports of what David Benavidez was actually asking for before this fight with Munguia got finalized. Because the thing is
what
that
was he asking for?
Reports are out that David Benavidez definitely asked for much more than $6 million.
According to him, he would do the fight for $5 million.
Well, that's what he said, but
see,
doors in.
But everybody mad at Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
Let's just say there are people that deal directly with David Benavidez that have said something completely separate, and it's not just Tim Tszyu.
Yeah, listen. I think David is in danger of overplaying his hand. He think that if he could rally Twitter around him, then that means that Canelo is going to fight him because he'll feel pressure. He's not understanding the business very well.
Right. And my thing was, it's like, hasn't he tried this strategy for like over a year now? Anyway, so if you see that doesn't work, why are you continuing to do that? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
And unfortunately, he's in the position to where he's gonna have to give a lot of something in order to even just entice Canelo to make this risk reward type of fight, and then he get his back in flesh.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I would say like, yeah, David should just just sit back, just be patient, just handle business. If he's gonna fight Gavasik supposedly on June 15th in either Las Vegas or some people may say Houston, Texas, then just go ahead and handle that business and then wait for potential renegotiations for a Canelo fight.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is this synonymous to Bud essentially not fighting Duran Ennis? Is Ennis are the levels the same with Canelo being, boxing god level in terms of like just status, right? Not necessarily skill at this point, but boxing god status, and then you got Benavidez, which is, a monster. He's the Mexican monster.
Ecuadorian monster.
Ecuadorian Mexican monster. And is it the same? Is it the same, or is Duran Ennis just one step behind from that sort of piece of negotiating? Because everybody wants to fight.
Matters because I don't think Terrence Crawford is going to be back at 147. So I don't see how Boots even factors into the equation.
Yeah. Yeah. Crawford basically is not interested in having any fights at 147 anymore. Even with that report that hasn't been really confirmed, that he said that he's going to activate that super champion status for the 154-pound division.
I think Paco confirmed it.
Yeah, Paco did. Yeah, he probably has it on his Twitter. Yeah.
Out of all the moves that Terrence Crawford has made, this is the one that I like the most. You the path of least resistance, and then you're gonna get 2 belts.
Oh my God. Yo, what is your problem, dude?
What you mean, what's my problem?
How is this the path of least resistance?
He get 2 belts in one fight. That's the path of least resistance.
Okay.
Versus fighting the other champions or whoever about to get the belts in 154.
He is the champion.
Say what?
Listen, he's the guy at 147. Can we all agree on that?
Yes, I'm saying he's taking the most efficient path to get to where he need to be. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm saying he's fighting someone who at least will scratch him at least. And he should win the fight, but at least Tszyu will scratch him at least. Tszyu will at least like make him think about not taking shots. You know what I'm saying? I think it'll be a good style matchup. I think Terrence Crawford gonna run away with it, but he fighting a bigger guy, so you know.
But how we even know Tszyu is gonna make it to that fight?
Oh, here we go. All right. I'll go to the. With that being said, I'll go to the next topic. Sebastian Fundora stepping in for Keith Thurman as Keith Thurman got injured in training earlier this week or whatever it is. So Sebastian Fundora will face Tim Tszyu for the WBO and yes, the WBC super welterweight titles. So the winner will be a unified super welterweight champion. Fundora coming off of the knockout loss to Brian Mendoza. And of course, Tim Tszyu had a busy 2023 with 3 fights and 3 victories there. And, I felt like, Keith Thurman, getting back in the game, going up against Tim Tszyu, it was like, maybe he could probably do something there, but he wasn't able to make it. And that was Sebastian Fundora. And, the word around the streets is having Fundora step in isn't necessarily a good look. It may be a bad style matchup for Sebastian Fundora, who's there about 6'7", but doesn't fight tall, wants to just throw hooks and uppercuts and not really establish a solid jab and be consistent with it. So that may be a problem going against a guy, Tim Tszyu, that loves to come forward, waits to see what his opponent does, and then breaks his opponent down to tire him out in the later rounds there. So, folks that know Sebastian Fundora say, hey, he's a great kid and this and that, but he's going to get busted up there against Tim Tszyu. What are your thoughts on it?
I'll only say at least he'll fight until it's over. Well, now he did kind of question himself at the end once he took that shot. He kind of, I remember it now.
Yeah, you did have a little segment about him questioning himself when he was on the canvas there about getting knocked down by Brian Mendoza. Like he thought about it and he said, you know what? I don't want to take no more damage, so I'm not going to get up there. But yeah, here against Tim Tszyu, he's looks like they're saying that he'll get beat up in this fight joint, man. MVO, man. So you're saying that maybe Fundora has a shot?
I think Fundora gonna stop him.
Ooh.
His style is all wrong for Tim Tszyu.
Ooh. Do you think it could come off of like him being a sort of a counterpuncher of sorts?
I just think he's gonna get hit with that uppercut from hell.
Well, yeah, I think he can land that uppercut for sure. It's just, will they have enough behind it to, affect Tim Tszyu?
Oh yeah, he gets a lot of that. Listen, Teron Goucher knocked him on his ass. Why can't Sebastian Fundora?
Yeah, he probably could,
Because Fundora don't hit that hard, dude.
Tell that to Nathaniel Gallimore. Tell that to Erickson Lubin.
Well, Erickson Lubin, I mean, he was able to knock down Fundora, but that was like something where Fundora took a knee,
But Lubin is like if you put enough pressure on.
What's that?
Is like Tony Harrison, to where when he reached that plateau, when he get tired, it just all the blocks and the cards fall down. He just kind of unravels, and you know how boxing is phases, where you got to fight through certain phases of boxing. Sometimes you have the phase in boxing where you're literally trying to survive, and you just got to get through that phase. Keith Thurman does well getting through phases. Sometimes you had a phase where you're winning and you got all the action. Sometimes you had a phase where it's back and forth action, and it's just like consistent pressure action, like with Errol Spence and the guy who he beat for the title, and he hurt his eye. He broke the orbital bone, whatever. Ugas, like it's back and forth pressure. And then sometimes you just gotta survive. I don't think Lubin, when he's in that, he has not practiced the mental push through that you need to just survive the moment and then sort of regroup, regain your composure, and then get back to the mission.
Okay, what makes you think Constant Zusan could do that?
We haven't seen yet. We don't know. That's a great question.
Okay.
But what I do know is, what's his name? Tall Dragon, whatever his name. If you put him to the test, I've seen him not pass the test one time, and I felt like, me sitting on the couch eating popcorn, that he could have at least tried to get up. And he thought about it and was like, nah, I want to fight again, which sometimes might be the best decision. Sometimes you don't necessarily need your corner to do that, because your corner doesn't protect you in that way. You need to have a corner that will protect you and be like, nah, enough is enough. Like, we could take these, we could go to the end, but let's just end it so you can take a few more blows in the next bout, which is essentially it. But he said, yeah, I don't think my dad gonna stop this fight, so I know my dad, so let me stop it.
Well, he was kicking Mendoza's ass for the first 6 rounds. He got caught with a good shot in the 7th round. It can happen to anybody.
It can happen, but I'm saying the moment where you have to choose what you want to do when you get your ass knocked down and you got to get up, that's what I'm speaking on. That moment where we all face, when you fall and you looking up after somebody done kicked your ass and you like, do I get up and get my ass kicked some more, or do I just stay down? It looked like, again, from my humble sideline opinion, that he chose to stay down in the face of.
He got hard.
Come again?
You don't think he got hard?
I think in that moment he didn't show.
You think he quit?
I think he quit in that moment. Yes. Okay. I'm not saying he don't have heart, because he does have heart. But what I am saying, having heart when you are, again, in those phases, it's one thing to have heart when you're going back and forth with somebody and you have all your faculties and your competencies and stuff. It's another thing in Errol Spence's case, when you know you getting beat pillar to post and you still trying, even though it's not worth it, even though it's not doing anything, even though it's not, this guy got your number and you still are trying, even though you compromise, even though you tired, even though you probably, dehydrated, he still was trying. That to me is a warrior. Wilder, even with his lack of sort of competencies in certain area, he still never stopped trying. He always tries, which means he get them knockdowns and then he reset the fight. That stuff people say is taught, but people say you got to have it, but no, that's taught. You are taught to do that. You don't. That's a muscle. You have to build that muscle. Sure, you can. Some people have it where they just tougher than other people, but you have to build the ability to endure. And when the tough get going, when you decide to not do it, is because you haven't built that ability. You haven't built that muscle to push through in the face of adversity.
But
Again,
we
I'm on the
saw him do it
sideline.
against Lubin.
Come again?
We saw him do it against Lubin, though.
But then you got Lubin, who when faced with the same thing, Lubin quit. So Lubin
Lubin quit before Fundora had a chance to quit.
Yes. I think Fundora hurt him in the fight, but yes, Lubin, if you make Lubin think about himself and question himself, he'll quit before you make him quit. And when you throw that in with his endurance, he like, do I want to do this? He asks himself, like Tony Harrison asks himself, do I still want to keep going with this? And then he just be like open for like weird shots because of his endurance and stuff.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to learn a lot about Tim Tszyu in this fight with Sebastian Fundora. And I suspect that Fundora will be able to get it done.
I hope Fundora shows us something. I hope this shows us something about Tim Tszyu that we didn't know, to tell us, more information in the next fight when he does have a tougher opponent. And I hope I'm proven wrong about Fundora, that he shows something else, because he will face adversity. JR is right. The dude gonna bludgeon him, and he gonna bludgeon him in the way that he likes to fight, but it's not effective with guys who are shorter and can get the punches off faster. He gonna learn. He gonna tell us something, whether he does have that quit gene, or he need to push through, or his corner need to be the people to save him. Something gonna be learned.
Yeah, that's true. We're gonna see what heart that Sebastian Fundora has, especially if he's able to go through adversity here against this bout against Tim Tszyu. Not me, but with MDO, at times he'll talk about, the odds of these fights that are going down or whatever it is. And currently now for DraftKings, they got Tim Tszyu at -525 and Sebastian Fundora at +370 there for their upcoming fight.
That's funny. So he's less of an underdog than Keith Thurman.
Yeah.
But that makes more sense though, because I wanted to ask y'all: was it confirmed that Keith Thurman was really hurt, or?
Well, come on, chill out, Rick Blazer.
I'm asking the question.
Chill out.
Or was it a scenario? I'm just asking the question because I like to ask these questions. Did Keith Thurman be like, I'm not ready, and then give me more time to get ready? Because that is a real thing. Objects in motion stay in motion. Objects at rest stay at rest. And him being at rest for a long time and fighting this monster, you need to be ready.
Yo, Costa Tszyu son ain't no monster.
Like
compared to a dude who ain't throw punches in competitive activity, that would be a tough fight for Keith Thurman. As much as I love Keith Thurman, as much as I'm a supporter of Keith Thurman, I want Keith Thurman to be ready.
Okay. Well,
yeah, but
he's injured.
So what would it take it for Keith Thurman to be ready? Like if he had a fight in the interim there before fighting Tim Tszyu, like who would he be fighting? Because he had been in and out of the gym for an extended period of time, before all of this.
Maybe I keep forgetting his name. With the eye. I mean, I think he could have beat Stanionis, yes, even at his compromise, like not being in the ring. But the guy with Errol Spence again, Ugas. It'd be a tough fight.
Retired?
Yeah, it looks like it. We ain't heard from him.
Nobody checking for Ugas.
It'd be a tough fight, but I think that'd be a good fight for him.
Hey, listen. Yeah, no one's checking for Ugas, but they'll call him up for something or whatever it is. I mean, who knows? I mean, he had his last bout against Barrios and pretty much got
his ass whipped.
But I'm saying Keith Thurman don't need no coming back after 2-3 years. You don't need somebody that is projected to outpace you by 300 points. You need something just to get the wheels going.
Mm.
Maybe it's something that'll test you a little bit, but not like don't prove anything in a fight after 2-3 years, which is Deontay Wilder's problem. Like I get it with him, he makes so much money. With all these guys, they make so much money. But Joseph Parker, who had a lot of momentum, who got a style that's not great for you, and then throw in a new Wilder that don't throw punches and ain't really throwing the right hand, and now more compromised with his chin. I love Wilder. I've been to like 5 or 6 of his fights, but throwing the guy with silk pajamas now, yeah. I want my man to be okay. You know what I'm saying?
Well, speaking of Wilder, have to talk with the president of the Deontay Wilder fan club, president of the Bomb Squad of this. There was like one person that leaked out that Deontay Wilder could be back in the ring in a few months, and it could be either against Zhilei Zhang if he doesn't have a rematch with Joseph Parker, or it could be against Joe Joyce.
I don't believe neither one of that.
Yeah. So I'm like,
why not? Why not?
Because someone close to the situation told me that them two ain't the names that's being talked about.
And I have a great, I have a great feeling of who that person is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those two guys weren't even mentioned as his opponents. Then, yeah, I don't know.
Is Francis Ngannou still available?
Yeah, he is still available. As long as he's still available and still wants to, box, then yeah, that's still out there because the demand is still there. So as long as that's still there, guess what? You can still have that fight between Wilder and Ngannou. So, there's that, man. Well, it looks like David Benavidez has just dropped something there. What was this, about 10 minutes ago or something? He says, if I have nothing to offer, then why are you demanding that you get 150 to 200 million to fight someone who isn't worth anything? Hopefully, after you make that 150 million, you have left over to buy paradise. So I'm like, oh my God.
Oh boy.
I mean, he gonna have to give something. Take 6-7 million and take it in flesh, because Canelo ain't gonna fight him otherwise.
5. He said he'll take 5.
What's the most money he done made up until this point?
Probably more than that.
Oh, really? Dang.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah, probably for that, Plant fight, he had a little bit more than that. So, maybe.
But it's opportunity cost. If you want to entice him so much, give him, like they did in Django, give him an offer they can't refuse.
Man, that's I don't know, man, because it looks like he was like saying or claiming, like he said, claimed that he would take 5 million, but behind the scenes, I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that 5 million.
Yeah, I heard him say it out of his mouth that he would take 5 million to fight Canelo. So he shouldn't be concerned if Canelo get 100 million.
Right.
Take your Marcus Maidana money and see if you can win the fight.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, I don't think he's willing to do that for a fight of that magnitude. He'll try to get a little bit more out of it, one way or another. Let's talk about the whole thing there with Deontay Wilder there in the heavyweight division. Also, this happened yesterday that seems like we're going to have Philip Hrgović versus Dayu Dubois coming up in June. That's through Hrgovic's coach, Ronnie Shields, that was on the Warweek Boxing show yesterday, that Philip Hrgović versus Dayu Dubois there in the heavyweight division. It's two. What is it? What you say, MBO? Two big beefy men.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that looks like that may be one of those bouts coming up there in the heavyweight division. That could be part of that Matchroom versus Queensberry card there for June 1st.
Yeah, because that's the card that Better Beef and Bivol is headlining, right?
Yes.
Oh, that would be a great co-feature.
It would be what now?
That'd be a great co-feature.
No, tell me the fight again, please.
Better, which fight? The one headlining?
Yes.
Better Beer versus Bivol.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yeah,
By the way,
June
MBO,
1st.
I'm sorry for calling you an N-word. I was in character, and I kind of got in character. My bad.
It's all good. A lot of down south people use that terminology because you guys still got that plantation mindset. It's all good. It's all good, man.
Wait a minute, like plantations.
It's all good, man.
I could say something about up north people, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to take the high road.
It's all good, man.
I got you. Okay, I'm gonna let you have that one.
But how do you feel about Hrgovic versus Dubois, boxing academic?
I actually like it. I like it because Daniel Dubois, another guy who questions himself cerebrally, and he has the momentum from beating, what's the last guy he beat?
Gerald Miller.
Gerald Miller, okay. Which after us watching the fight, it wasn't that impressive, but the whole time everybody was waiting to see, and there were opportunities where even Dubois was like, was he gonna hit me? Is he gonna like press the issue? Because Dubois, no different than the other few guys I named. Damn, why am I forgetting people's names now?
Fundora?
Not Fundora, the black guy who got knocked out by the Charlo twin. Lubin, and even from Detroit. Why am I blanking on
Harrison?
Tony Harrison. So he's in the same vein as them, where when you start putting pressure, and he's in the phase where he has to endure. He hadn't been taught the muscle of enduring. People say what they want about Keith Thurman. You can say that he's this. You can say he talked too much. You can say he light skinned. You can say whatever you want to say about him. But Keith Thurman has developed the muscle of when he's in a position that he's super compromised to endure. Sometimes you just got to survive the encounter. Sometimes that's exactly where you are in life. And you got to survive the encounter. And what you going to do? You're going to fold, or you going to like survive the encounter. Keith Thurman knows how to do that. And then let's say even Pacquiao fight, he survived the encounter, and then he made the fight more competitive enough to where it was a split decision. And had he not got hit by that late body shot, he would have won the fight. We would have had a different conversation. He might have fought, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but he might have fought Terrence Crawford. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. But what do I think about the fight? I think it's good because no different than Anthony Joshua, I think that Dubois is starting to feel more confidence in himself. And in that fight, he learned something about himself. Yes, it's pressing, it's this, is that. But as long as I keep throwing shots, I will fare better than just, letting the dang wave take me. As long as I'm moving my arms to try to get back to shore, and I keep moving my arms, as long as when I'm trying to get to the quarterback, I keep moving my feet and don't let the lineman push me back, I'll fare better than just stopping and getting rolled over. You either maintain speed or the stampede will take you over. Word to currency. But yeah, and then Hrgovic, who he got knocked out by?
Nobody.
But some people thought that Zhilei Zhang beat him.
Okay, that was a fight. So they had that close fight where Zhang won early and then he won late, right?
And a knockdown wasn't scored for Zhang, basically.
Okay. But yes, but Zhang sort of won the hearts of the people in supposing to win that fight. And he has another fight, right, where he didn't necessarily look great or he kind of survived. Was there another fight like that?
Well, he had a draw against Jerry Forrest.
Okay, so that's what I'm thinking then. I don't know. I think with what's his name building his confidence and being able to throw the shots, I have to go back and look at his style again. But just based off of the momentum of the two, and then sort of how his fights are always close in a sense, then as long as what's his name throw his hands, he should be all right. But then you got his mind, so as long as he can conquer his own mind, I think he'd be okay. I don't know actually.
Now, got another guest that's just jumping on here to what's, of course, talk boxing. Great guest here, of course, was out there for Pro Box last week. Brother Terrell is in the building, man. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? I really hope everybody's having a great night, academically speaking, of course.
Yes. Don't worry, Terrell. I already took what you said in the chat and said it for you.
Now, what's up, everybody? What's up, Matt? What's up?
Hey, what's going on, Chef?
I see you got that podcast rocking, man. Good. That's good, man. That's good shit. Good shit.
Yeah, we doing what we could do.
Yep. The Brunch Podcast, whatever it's called, Cool,
Brunch boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Come for boxing, stay for brunch.
Yeah, Terrell. So, we had these different topics jumping off here, man. The Benavidez joint, man. Now, he looks like he responded to Canelo's comments, man. And, we talk about Sebastian Fundora stepping in for Keith Thurman, man. Well, what do you think about these joints?
Yeah, I saw some backlash with Fundora getting put in for the Tszyu fight, and I mean, bottom line, they got to save the card, right? And like I said, in order to save the card, you can't just throw anybody in at this point on short notice, and especially someone that doesn't have a name. So, if you go down the top 10 and at 154, who's ready, and who's going to actually take that fight, right? So, I have no problem with Fundora, despite the fact that him coming off a TKO loss and things like that. I mean, he's perfect, and you know what? He wins the fight right back in the mix. Have they announced yet? Will it be for the two belts? Have they announced that yet?
They have.
And so will be?
Yep.
And now I'm highly rooting for Fundora. So get that fight and right back in the mix, and we'll expose. I won't say expose, but Tszyu's a solid fighter. Not exceptional. Doesn't do anything great. Just a good solid fighter in that regard. So, but I'm definitely rooting for the Mr. Fundora at 6'5", 66, and also his sister too, right? So, but no problem with that at all. Not at all.
So you're siding on the you're going on the side with MVO and picking Sebastian Fundora to score this win.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just look at once again. He's what do you call it? A unicorn in the division. We know that. High punch out rate. I think Tszyu will need to test him early, and test that chin and test his confidence to see where's that. That's probably the main question that we all want to see answers from Fundora, right? But outside of that, I think that Fundora might roll him over in that regard. I'm thinking like a 8-9 round stoppage or something like that. That's what I'm thinking.
Ooh. 8-9 round stoppage for Sebastian Fundora over.
Has what's his name ever won a full fight?
Who? Tszyu? Both of them have.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, both of them have. But I just think that Fundora is just that much better than Tszyu, who's once again a solid fighter. Not taking nothing away from him. So there you go.
Man, yeah, that would kind of send a few shockwaves out there in the boxing world there if Fundora is able to get this win against Tim Tszyu. And you did have a good point there. You can't really insert just anybody in off of a couple weeks notice there that probably wasn't part of the card. So with Fundora, who was originally slated to face Sergey Bohachuk on this fight card, is now able to step in and be part of the main event. And with that, being said, that kind of like shapes up for this being a good card there on pay-per-view. There, as you're gonna have 4 world title fights that's scheduled on there with Tszyu versus Fundora, Rolly versus Cruz, Aristotle De Lara versus Rafa, and
That's a whack fight.
it is a whack fight, though. I would just be honest, that's a whack fight. And then you have Julio Cesar Martinez versus Angelino Cordova. I don't know, maybe they should put Bohachuk versus Mendoza there in place of Lara versus Rafa instead of
man. I don't know what's going on with that. Man, if Laura don't send this dude to hell, then Laura is completely finished.
Man. Look at Zoe, man. Zoe in the building. He says Tszyu is average, but Fundora's cheeks. Oh man. Come on, man. Fundora's a little, we gotta be better than that. Sebastian Fundora gotta be better than that, man. Come on, yo. Oh, jeez. But yeah, that's the fight card there. Four fights that will start at 8 p.m. Eastern time there. And then before that at 6 p.m. Eastern time, you got Elijah Garcia versus Kyron Davis. And Bohachuk will face Brian Mendoza for the interim WBC title at 154 pounds. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good card, though. That's a pretty good card that they have coming up for March 30th. Where I went through like most of the stuff for the heavyweight news or whatever it is. MVO, you got anything that's out there before I got
I don't know if you saw Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson arguing with each other in a Twitter space today, going back and forth. I guess Ryan says if he can't get a Tank rematch at 140, then he'll gladly fight Shakur next.
Shakur Stevenson. And yeah, Shakur Stevenson said, "Hey, I'm holding him up to his word."
Yeah, but that's interesting to me that Shakur Stevenson is showing interest in going to 140. If you got interest in going to 140, you have a July date. You have a fight at the Prudential Center. Why can't we get Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez at 140 next? If Shakur is interested in going to 140.
Or to 140, yeah. And
hey, Matt, let me ask you a question. A two-part question. If you were Derrick James, how much would you limit Ryan Garcia's social media presence right now? And then on top of that, what do you think of Shakur Stevenson's next move? Last fight with Top Rank, should resign. What should he do going forward?
Well, with Derrick James, Ryan Garcia is a grown man. Derrick James can't do anything about his social media habits. It is what it is. This is what Ryan was built on. Ryan was built on social media. So to expect him to not be on social media before the second biggest fight of his life, I don't think that is something that's going to be very good for him. As for Shakur Stevenson, I don't think he should re-sign with Top Rank for the simple fact that he wants big fights and Top Rank doesn't seem interested in giving him big fights. Lomachenko obviously is not going to fight him. Who else does Top Rank have that would be considered a big fight? The closest thing you got is Murataya. That's not a big fight. It's just a dangerous fight and a good fight. That'll make it a big fight, know? So the guy everyone wants is Tank. And then if you can't get Tank, you want Ryan. So for me, Shakur needs to go where he could get either one of those fights.
So could he bet on himself, like in the Devin Haney model, and become somewhat of an independent and build?
I don't know, because I feel like Haney had a better track record of drawing interest. Shakur, that fight that he did with De Los Santos, the ratings were terrible. And the ticket sales were terrible. So he's going the other way, which is not good.
Yep.
And I'm sure it'd be fair to say if he was to re-sign with Top Rank again, it's going to be like a kind of like a mimic of Crawford's move years ago, right?
Probably worse than that, actually, because I don't think they're going to give him the winner of Lomachenko Kambosos.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing too was like the other fight that maybe could have garnered some interest for Shakur Stevenson is Emmanuel Navarrete, who's going after a WBO belt, but that's not big enough, So what would be the point of Shakur Stevenson, staying the course there with Top Rank if you pretty much already know who your potential opponents are going to be, and you could pretty much gauge how much money you could get off of those particular fights. So yeah, your best bet is to just test the waters elsewhere.
Yep.
And try to go after maybe a fight against Ryan, maybe a fight against Dev, or a fight against Tank later on down the line. But going back to what you said, MVO, as far as like Shakur Stevenson's interest at 140, he did like mention a few weeks ago that he would entertain a fight there, with not just with Teofimo Lopez, but with Subriel Matias. But back to the thing there with Teofimo Lopez. Well, why not just have that fight right now? But if they do have it, I don't think it would be like Newark or whatever it is. They would probably try to put it at Madison Square Garden. Because they would try to make that would probably be the biggest fight that would be out there for Shakur Stevenson, is a fight against Teofimo Lopez there while he's on the Top Rank. But would Top Rank give him that type of a fight? I don't think so.
My question is, Ryan Garcia is talking all this with other people, but is he actually gonna make it to the fight that's scheduled for him and right in front of his face? Or is it gonna be some reason after the fight, or if he does make it to the fight, is he gonna make it to the fight? And if he does make it to the fight, is it gonna be some reason why mental illness is what it's being set up as? Which again, I want everybody to get any help that they feel they need. And I think that is what someone should do if they feel they need help. But is he gonna make it to the fight?
I think it will. I think even though it's a lot of smoke with this social media presence and stuff like that, you're not gonna be able to highly respect a coach like Derek James and being there fucking around and not be ready for the fight. It's not gonna happen. Because if that was the case, I'm sure if he lost in a bad way, Derek James gonna drop this dude. It's like you wasting my time. You see what I'm saying? So I think all this stuff is just part of the bull crap to sell a fight, gain interest. Oh, is he sick? Is he well? I mean, come on now. That's bullshit. That dude all right. He know what he's doing.
I hope so. I hope it is just selling. I mean, hey, I haven't been following it per se, but I don't want to hear no crap talking about I was feeling however right because you decided to get in the ring.
Yeah. But I mean, the joints, the antics are, not really, helping them in his favor. They have Devin Haney as a significant favorite in that bout, man. Like huge favorite. Like Devin Haney's at -900 right now. Like, I mean, come on. Like everybody's putting their so it's like folks are putting their life savings or whatever it is on Devin Haney to win that fight. So he's gonna have to have the performance of his life if they feel like he really has a shot to beat Devin Haney on April 20th.
Man, this might be one of them Floyd bets.
Could be, definitely could be. So
I was scrolling on Instagram today at work, just wasting time. I saw it pop up, King Rise now live. I said, I'm not looking at that. No, kept on going.
yeah, it just looks like he's just putting on, stuff to, like I said, he had the social media presence, so it looks like he's just, as they say, doing it for the gram. But this is a very serious fight where, a lot of money is on the line, and his career is basically on the line here.
And we said on here before, at some point, he has to start winning these fights. Can't just keep losing the big fights and expect people to back you, and you continue to get big fights. He has to start winning some of these at some point in time.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, we gotta figure out how he's gonna approach this. It's gonna be it's within 4 weeks. So definitely gotta look out for that there in 4 weeks, how he's going to approach this thing. But that's mainly there what I got here for the midweek report. So we'll get back into the regular schedule here. We're gonna be back on Sunday night, and then get the midweek report. Like I said, every Wednesday night back on here. So biggest for everybody that jump in here for this edition of the midweek report for March 20th, 2024. And y'all be sure to hit the like button on the way out. They're supporting the Boxing Source. Until then, man, I'll catch y'all next time, man. We out.
Later.